Gallagher, social introductions. Ladies and gentlemen of excellent family, introduced under the most respectable circumstances in an atmosphere of elegance and refinements. Object, matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning service today, as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of a Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known half-millionaire. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, that means he's got at least 60,000 cash. But I'll do my best to have you carried across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention I'm available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short-distance hauling, and varicose veins reduced.
Dolly. She's the one that sticks his regulators, name the kind of man your sister. Wasn't she snatch him up? Don't forget to bring your lady back and she'll match him up. Dolly.
Oh, Mrs. Levi!
Mr. Kemper, the artist. I'm something of an artist myself, you know. I do those silhouettes with the scissors and the black paper. Here's one of Ada Rand looking the other way. I have to do them like that because I'm no good with noses.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes, and if we don't get there on time, then we're going to...
But we will, Mr. Kemper. And not only will Horace Vandergelder give you permission to marry his niece, Ermengarde, but he will also dance at your wedding. And not alone, either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife for himself. What he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, always said, marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder.
I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Half of New York City is going to propose to Mrs. Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is exactly why I'm going to Yonkers this morning, Mr. Kemper, so I can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone, or whatever I'll throw, I'll see. Oh, well, would you look at that? I have nothing here to pay my train fare with. Only large bills like 5s and 7s and...
I have some change here somewhere. I only hope this isn't a wild goose chase, Mrs. Levi.
And speaking of poultry, I am also available for fresh Jersey eggs, surgical corsets reboned, ears pierced ears replugged.
Mrs. Levi!
Just make the kind of man your sister. Wasn't just snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your lady as we shall match him up. Dolly.
Tell me, Mrs. Levi, what's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meddle. I have always been a woman who arranges things. It's my duty to assist the Lord above. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lives. And a man with a timid tongue meets a girl with a diffident air. Why should these tortured creatures beat around the bush when heaven knows Mother Nature always needs a little push? So I put my hand in here, I put my hand in there, and a girl over 6'3" loves a man who comes up to her ear. Surely it's obvious she'll never be seduced to some kind soul condescends to give her beau a little boost. So I put my hand in there, I put my hand in here. I have always been a woman who arranges things. It's my duty to assist the Lord above. I have always been a woman who arranges things like luncheon parties, poker games, and love. My aplomb at cosmetic art turned a frump to a trump lady fair. She had a countenance a little bit like Scrooge on board. Ephraim Levi, I'm going to get married again. I'm going to marry Horace Vandergelder for his money and send it out circulating among the people like rainwater the way you taught me. And I want a sign sometime today that you approve. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I shall certainly make him happy. And I'm tired, Ephraim. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth, so I want a sign.
Mrs. Levi!
Sometime today. Don't worry, Mr. Kemper. We'll get that train, we'll get to Yonkers, and you will marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me. For when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles, then I make my knuckles active. My, he says, she's so attractive. Then I use my index digit, and they all begin to fidget. Then I use my palm, reach over the psalm when I put my hand in there.
Ermengarde! How am I supposed to be expected to play Yonkers My Yonkers with all this bellowing in my ear?
I can't help it. I love Ambrose Kemper.
And I say you're too young to be in love with anybody. Here, take this.
I'm not too young. I'm 17. And in another year, I'll be an old maid.
Dare to be an old maid, Ermengarde, or I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry in front of the store.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Then by thunder, you'll go and weep for a while in New York where it won't be noticed. Now get up there and start packing your trunk. And don't get any tears on the lock. It was just oiled. Cornelius! Barnaby!
You stamped Mr. Vandergelder?
I did, and I got news for you both. I'm going to New York this afternoon to march in the 14th Street Association Parade. When I get back, you're going to have a mistress.
But I'm too young, Mr. Vandergelder.
Not yours, hell and damnation, mine. I mean, I'm getting married again, and in honor of that occasion, I've decided to promote you, Cornelius, to chief clerk.
And what am I now, Mr. Vandergelder?
You're an impertinent fool, that's what you are, and I'm promoting you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes.
What?
Does the chief clerk get one evening off a week?
So that's the way you thank me for the promotion, is it? No, sir. You'll attend to the store as usual. Now get back to work! And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings off, marrying artists, foolishness. 99% of the people in this world are fools and the rest of us are in danger of contamination. Why, even I was young once, which was foolish, and got married, which was foolish, and was poor, which was more foolish than anything else. And then my wife died, which was foolish of her, and I grew older, which was sensible of me, and became rich, friendless, and mean, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can go. Oh, I know what you're wondering now. Why a man with so much good sense as myself should be planning anything as foolish as getting married again. Well, the answer to that question is simple. The house without a woman would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft Dresden fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. the frail young maiden who's constantly there for washing and bluing and shoeing the mare. And it takes a female for setting the table and weaning the Guernsey and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity. 3 cheers for femininity. Rah, 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 rah. F-E-M-I-T-Y. F-E-M-I-T-Y. Get out of here. And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking?
To that dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman,
A husky woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
oh yes, it takes a woman,
A dainty woman,
a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman,
a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. All right, out of here, all of you.
make it sleep.
Congratulations! Congratulations! 1,000 congratulations!
What? What?
Congratulations, Mr. Vandergelder. All New York is buzzing with the news that you've practically proposed to Irene Malloy. The streets are lined with eligible young ladies just prostrate with grief. All of my congratulations and sympathy.
Sympathy?
Did I say that? A slip of the tongue, that's all. Though I'm delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. By that, I mean, you know what people said, although I, for one, never believed the rumors. No, I didn't.
Rumors? What rumors?
Well, it's nothing to get upset about, Mr. Vandergelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed away quite naturally. It's just that he went so sudden. A few spoons of the chowder that she made special for him, but he could hand it to anybody. Oh, no, there's no truth in it. Just one word of advice, Mr. Vandergelder. Eat out.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Malloy. Mrs. Levi, do you mean to say that Mrs.
I
Malloy?
mean to say nothing, Mr. Vandergelder. Just friendly advice. Stay away from the chowder. By the way, she ordered her wedding gown. Beautiful. You should see it. Black. Well, as I said before, Mr. Vandergelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may you rest in, may guardian angels watch over you both, particularly at dinner.
Now hold on a second, Mrs. Levi. You introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or not, I still intend on calling on her this afternoon. As arranged?
Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. Then there's nothing more for me to do except go back to New York and tell the other girl, the heiress, not to wait.
What did you say?
Nothing. A word. Heiress.
Particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name?
Her name? Money. Ernestina Money.
What a lovely, lovely name.
Oh, picture, if you will, Hair as shiny as a newly minted dime. Eyes as big round as silver dollars. Skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
I can feel her now.
Age 19. Weight 102. Waist 47.
Waist 47?
That's with the money belt. Now I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
I ain't got time, Mrs. Levi. I gotta take my niece Ermengarde to New York this afternoon until she forgets a certain Ambrose Kemper.
I could do that for you, Mr. Vandergelder. I know just how to handle such things.
And then I'm marching in the 14th Street Parade.
What an amazing coincidence! Guess who's been chosen to ride on the main float? The spirit of 14th Street, Miss Money. Her mother was a cash, you know.
All right, Mrs. Levi, I'll meet Miss Money at the parade, but I still intend on calling on Mrs. Malloy first.
Oh dear, what races you make me run. Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. I'll meet you on that bench in front of Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
One more thing. Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy, and I don't like Miss Money neither.
Well then, I happen to have one more name on my list. A name I know as well as my own. But let's not get into that. It'll come up all on its own in good time. Don't you worry about that. Oh, but wait till you see Ernestina Horace. A vision, a dream.
It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft dressed-in fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman. La da 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 da. You know, Ephraim, I think I'll have that room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue. Ermengarde, Ambrose, come on out here. We've got plans to make.
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good, in 10 years, I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. 33 years old and I still don't get an evening free. When am I going to begin to live?
You can live on holidays, Cornelius.
Did you forget what we did last Christmas? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded, and you and I cleaned up the mess all afternoon. Do you call that living?
No.
Barnaby, you and I are going to New York.
You mean close the store?
Uh-huh.
Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
Holy cabooses! How do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them, that's how I know. They'll make such a smell, customers won't be able to come into the place for 24 hours. That'll get us an evening off. We're going to New York, Barnaby, and we're gonna live. We're gonna have a good meal. We're gonna spend our money. We're gonna be in danger. We're gonna be arrested. Whoa!
Holy cabooses!
And one more thing. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
I'm 33 years old. I've got to begin sometime.
I'm only 17, Cornelius. It isn't so urgent for me.
Oh, New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains, the lights of Broadway, the stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
A stuffed whale?
A stuffed whale. What do you say, Barnaby?
Yes, Cornelius, yes!
Now, the first thing to do is make you financially independent. I know I'll find you a job. Can you dance?
I'm an artist, Mrs. Levi. I paint.
Well then, my card.
Mrs. Dolly Levi. Painters taught how to dance.
Now there's a man, Rudolph Reisenweber, at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. I'll give you a note for him and we'll see if he can't have you both entered in the polka contest for tonight. The prize is a week's engagement and a gold cup. Oh, the cups we won, Ephraim and me.
Now hold on a minute, Mrs. Levi. No financier of mine is going to set foot in a cafe. I don't mind saying I'm surprised you have acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemper. Friends! Dear friends of days gone by, why, my late husband Ephraim Levi believed in life in any place you could find it. Cafes, ballrooms, yes, even theaters. And even when times were bad, every Saturday night, like clockwork, down the stairs at the Harmonia Gardens we came, Ephraim and me.
It's all very well to come down like clockwork, Mrs. Levi, but you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
Well, it's the only way to show Horace Vandergelder that we mean business. Now you go to the Harmonia Gardens this afternoon and say that Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, tell Rudolph that Dolly's coming back. And I want a table for two and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight.
The bottom row looks all right, Cornelius. Now hold the candle under the ones on top. Not too close. They're swelled up like they're ready to burst. Holy cabooses! Cornelius, I can smell it up here.
Let's get dressed, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Out there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there beyond this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby.
Out there, full of shine and full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Cornelius.
Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliantine and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night where the lights are bright as the stars.
Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town. In one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows at Delmonico's and we'll close the town in our whirl. And we won't come home until we've kissed our girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Strut down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look.
Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile that makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your beads, your buckles and bows. For there's no blue Monday in your Sunday clothes.
Come on, we're going to New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains, the lights of Broadway.
Holy cabooses!
The stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
Wow! Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Strut down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign to feel as fine as you look. Beneath the parasol, the world is all a smile that makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers.
thought you knew. Why, the marriage Mrs. Levi is arranging between Horace Vandegelder, the well-known Yonkers half-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Malloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Malloy. May he rest in peace. Wherever he is, I'm not sure. He was a caution, you know. Oh, it's all too much, what with late husbands and new marriages. And on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the third time this week. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers. To catch a beau, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. I told her ribbons down our back is what we'd be wearing this summer if you want to catch a gentleman's eye. But she'd have none of it. Cherries and feathers she wants. On today, of all days, when that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind, what with...
With what, Minnie?
With the door. It's stuck.
It's stuck? Then push.
And as I was saying, Mrs. Malloy, I could bite out my tongue for the things I've said, and for the things I'm going to say. But as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why,
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandegelder?
Oh, I didn't ask you that. I'd rather die in the rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I'm marrying Horace Vandegelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get out of the millinery business. I hate hats.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
Don't protest, Minnie. All millinairesses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into restaurants or theaters or balls. That's all the proof they need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandegelder or I break out of this place like a fire engine. Oh, no. Not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie. Leave it be. You can make another hat for Miss Mortimer if you like. I'll be wearing this one myself.
Mrs. Malloy, you can't. You're a widow. And that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may walk into the shop today? And provocative may be just what I want to be.
Mrs. Malloy.
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer, blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by, and so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye, and he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair, that he might notice me.
don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love, and I'm not saying I was shortchanged, but once is enough for a woman as long as it's true love, and that it was. Minnie, look! There's two men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Men? In the shop? Oh, Mrs. Malloy, what should we do?
Do? I flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and you with all that talk about love.
Love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure I could use now. We'll get 'em all heated up and then drop 'em cold. It'll be good practice for married life. And now you go into the workroom. I know a few ways we can perk up our appearances a bit. Besides, a bit of a weight will make them more nervous and easier for us, too.
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire.
Ow!
And so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
We'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long we wander around New York and nothing happens. Then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly...
Vandergelder!
Is he still out there? Go look.
He's sitting on that bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
You don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it all right. How much money have you got left?
Not much, Cornelius. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. That's 90 cents. Why?
When those women come out, we'll have to pretend we're customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. Then we won't have to spend anything. We're two men about town looking for hats for ladies.
Hello and welcome to my
what a
shop.
lovely
Hello.
lady. You look ravishing today.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you,
Well,
Well,
we're two
hats,
ladies
you see,
about town
and we
looking for
wanted to
some
buy
hats
a
for
lady or
boys.
two to Malloy with.
We want a hat. For a lady, of course. And everyone said to go to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable, too. As reasonable, Cornelius, as under $1 would still leave us enough to see the whale.
You've got to pay him no mind, ma'am. He's come all the way from Yonkers to see the whale, and he's all excited. Just keep an eye on that street, Barnaby, and maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with mean little red eyes?
Yes?
It's sitting on that bench.
Excuse me, Mr. Hackle, but did you say Yonkers?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. By that, I mean, perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are, Barnaby, she's a widow. Oh, and that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. I mean, on you, of course, not Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that worry you. I would be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I would be more than pleased to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be there sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know him.
Perhaps we do.
It's always so foolish to ask in cases like this, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Wait, Horace Vandergelder?
Vandergelder's hay and feed?
Do you know him?
No, of course we don't. No.
Well, Mr. Vandergelder's a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
A lovely man, Mrs. Malloy. Just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think.
Now, perhaps your friend might like this one.
Look out!
I'm begging your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain later.
Come out of there this minute.
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, well, really, Mr. Heckle? Mr. Topper, I insist you come out of there this minute or I'll be forced. Mr. Vandergelder.
Mrs. Malloy, I don't suppose Mrs. Levi's here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just go and look for me if she comes. When I make an appointment with someone, I expect them to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you speaking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder? What would men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Now, won't you come and see my workroom? I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
Oh, so you did. Well, what's new in the hay and feed business? I understand you have 3 friends, all as hard as nails.
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a very beautiful city.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see, he? A customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. He was in here buying hats for ladies. You might even know him, although it's always so silly to ask in cases like this. It's a Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
He happens to be my head clerk, that's all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. Why, he's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. He's even at the Harmonia Gardens 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He is one of the Hackles. They built the canals.
What canal?
The
The
Panama.
Erie. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Well, who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius Hackle. He is the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I can see you were just as taken with him as everybody else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only met him once in my life. Really, Dolly?
Excuse me.
Of course.
Minnie has a There's a man in there!
If there's a man in that closet, then I am...
Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now rippling back and forth underneath your coat. Ripple, 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 back and forth. Ripple, ripple, ripple.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the courts will want to know when you're accused of entering this closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir, Bessie Ross's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg? May that great triumphal arch. If you see a Nazi trampling through the graves of rats, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here at 14 years of age as an immigrant girl whose land oppressed my people. And now I must stand and echo what was once said by the great and patriotic American,
Moses!
I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot land for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's a tear-stained eagle passing. Do you see him on the bridge at Waterloo, near that great triumphal arch? up and march, march, march. I stand for Mother America and I have for orphans, every God I will serve as my flag free. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg, near that great child march? If you see him trembling through the rain, so stand up and march, march. 7 years ago. March, march, to form a more perfect union. March, march, then the torpedoes full speed ahead. March, march, march.
So you see, Mr. Van de Gelder, there can't possibly be a man in this closet. God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy!
All right, Mr. Van de Gelder, there is a man in that cupboard.
Aha!
And another onto that table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a very simple explanation for all of this. But for the present, good afternoon.
Good Lord, the horror is crawling with the man. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you later this afternoon, Mr. Van de Gelder.
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi, with a certain young lady on the main floor at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything. You see,
I do not wish to hear an explanation, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I'll send for Officer Gardy.
Well, if you ask me, Irene, calling an officer is letting them off too easy. The law courts, that's where these two belong. I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and believe me, you've got enough grounds for at least 2 writs, a non compos mentis, and a garnichet. But the main thing to do is to show that you tried to settle things amicably first, so have dinner with them.
dinner?
Is that really necessary, Dolly?
Well, it's the way things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnichet afterwards.
If it must be. Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. Now I hear there's a very nice restaurant in the railroad station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for your fashionable friends, then it's good enough for us. They say there's a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, we couldn't go there. Now, don't misunderstand me. It isn't the money or anything. It's the whale!
It's the whale!
No, it isn't the whale, Barnaby. It's the dancing. You see, they have dancing in a place like that. Exhibitions, even contests. And I don't know how, and it would take me weeks, months, years to learn. Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerks, taught how to dance.
Now, it's very simple. You just put one arm here, one arm here.
But it's no use. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Well, absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hackle, and I'll have you dancing in the streets. Now we'll start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. And right foot touch, left foot touch, under, back, around, touch, back, through, around, behind, out, over, release, unfurl. That's lovely. Oh, when I think of the lucky young women who'll find heaven in your arms. Let's go back to lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand with her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Look, I'm dancing. Oh, well, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow, I'm dancing.
Turn around and turn around, try floating through the air. Can you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
Woo! The word I think I'd use is athletic.
For my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop? Look at me, everybody! I, Cornelius Hackle, sport and dancing!
On next, Mr. Tucker. Glide and step, and then step and glide.
And everyone, stand aside.
He's dancing!
You could do the polka if you worked a week or so, or the tango filled with passion seething.
I joined the chorus of the Castle Garden show.
Whatever you do, for God's sake, keep breathing.
Oh, my heart is about to burst. My head is about
it is. Mrs. Levi. How are you, Mrs. Levi?
How are you, Mrs. Rose?
Pains in my back, aches in my side, stabs in my liver. I'm fine. My daughter Fanny got married, you know.
Did she?
A year ago, last September. It's been a long, long time since you've lived here, Mrs. Levi. Such a long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It's been long enough, Ephraim. Every evening for all these years, I've put out the cat, I've locked the door, I've made myself a little rum toddy. And before I went to bed, I said a prayer, thanking God that I was independent, that nobody else's life was mixed up with mine. And then one night, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I placed it there when you asked me to marry you. A perfectly good leaf, except without color and without life. And I suddenly realized that I was like this oak leaf, and for years I had not shed one tear, nor had I been filled with the wonderful hope that something or other would turn out well. And so, I've decided to rejoin the human race. And Ephraim, I want you to give me away. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade passes by.
Taking us to the 14th Street Parade, and everyone will be marching.
Why, Irene, you're crying.
Oh, Dolly, the world is full of wonderful things. Come with us, Dolly.
I will, Irene. I will. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some love back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life. With the rest of them, with the best of them, I can hold my head up high. Or I've gotta go again, I've gotta drive again, I've gotta feel my heart coming alive again. Before the parade passes by. Look at that crowd up ahead. Listen and hear that o'clock.
That's the most expensive restaurant in the city!
And well, it should be. All what food and the fastest waiters in New York. By the way, I might be a little late, so Miss Money will meet you outside. Oh, wait till you see it, Horace. All in buttercup yellow with baby pink shoes, humming an old-fashioned tune. Yes, sweet Rosie O'Grady, you couldn't miss her if you tried.
I'll be there, Dolly, but only because I paid for the introduction, I might as well get my money's worth. But from this point forward, you are hereby discharged as my marriage broker. You hear that, Dolly Gallagher? From now on, you're just a woman like anybody else. What's happening? Where are you taking me?
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna arrange the room. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me an overtone. Listen to the rhythm. Passing by.
We just love looking at the lights of 14th Street these past 4 hours. But now I think it's time you better call a hack, or we'll never make it to the Harmonia Gardens on time. Oh, look, there's one. Yoo-hoo!
Oh, we couldn't do that. It's not the money or anything. It's just that, nowadays, really elegant people never take hacks.
Hacks is out.
They all go by streetcar.
J.P. Vanderbilt, Diamond Jim Morgan.
Then by all means, a streetcar.
Imagine, just think, I've been elegant all my life. I never even knew it.
Of course, if you really want to be elegant,
We do.
you walk.
Yes, New York, it's really us, Barnaby and Cornelius.
All the guests of Mr. Hackle are feeling great and look spectacular.
What a knack there is to that, acting like a born aristocrat. We've got elegance if you ain't got elegance, you can never
spoons were used for feeding us. We got
Elegance if you ain't got elegance, you can never ever carry it up. Middle class, don't speak of it, savoir-faire. We're ignorant, some were born with rags and patches, but we use dollar bills for matches and
Vanderbilt, kowtows to us.
J.P. Morgan scrapes and bows to us.
we've got elegance, fingerboard with elegance.
Have you noticed when I hold my cup, the saucer never moves?
And the way I hold my pinky up indubitably proves
That we've got elegance, we got built in elegance and with elegance. We'll carry it all. We've got elegance if you ain't got elegance, you can never ever carry it off. We've got elegance.
Oh, look, Minnie. They're counting their money again. Isn't that just like the rich? Well, gentlemen, aren't you going to escort us in?
Of course we are, Barnaby. Mrs. Malloy, as we start inside, may I
Yes, Mr. Hackle?
put my arm around your waist?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. But I might as well warn you, a corset is a corset.
But I don't want to be on the stage. I just want to get married.
You heard Mrs. Levi. It's the only way to show your uncle that we mean business. Now, can you weep a little faster? You're throwing me off step. Faster! Hey, that's it!
Sweet Rosie O'Grady, my sweet little Rose.
Und it is my order as head waiter of the Harmonia Gardens and your supreme commander that tonight, of all nights, our usual lightning service will be twice as lightning as ever, or else. I trust you're finding this table satisfactory, sir. As the private items cost a bit more, but they do afford the best view of the entertainment.
$1.40, Cornelius. That's all that's left.
Are you sure? Count it again.
Prepare yourself for a big night, Minnie. We're out with two of New York's best-known sports.
I did make a mistake, Cornelius. It's only $1.35. I'll count it once more, though.
No, don't. We can't afford it.
I'm going to order everything on the menu. Waiter!
Told you before, sir. You will have to move. This table is reserved for Mrs. Levi and Party.
And who do you think I am? Only it's Horace Vandergelder and Party. She's in my party. I ain't in hers.
Mr. Vandergelder, of course. It's just that Mrs. Levi mentioned nothing about you bringing your...
My personal physician. That's enough rouge, Doctor.
But Mrs. Levi only ordered a chicken for two.
Chicken? Chickens are dear.
Un pâté maison, so unusual. Un pomme soufflé.
Well, why didn't you tell me this was an Oriental establishment? We'll take 2 bowls of rice. Now get out. So, Miss Money, I understand you carry respectable sums in your belt.
Yeah, $2. Only it's in my garter.
Oh.
You to worry about our reputations, Cornelius, but Minnie and I don't care who see us tonight. Well, Minnie, what have you decided?
Oh, I couldn't have anything at these prices. I really couldn't.
Great grindstones, what a sensible girl. Waiter, bring us 4 glasses of beer, a loaf of yesterday's bread, and some cheese.
Yesterday's bread? Oh, Cornelius, now I know how you keep half of New York in stitches all the time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant?
Pheasant?
Say, why are we sitting all the way over here? You ashamed of something?
It's not that. I just felt a slight chill.
Why didn't you say so? Here, I'll loan you this. Now, let's order something to hold us until the rice comes. Waiter, would you bring a roast suckling pig with chestnut and oyster stuffing, some cheese fondue, and some lady fingers? Now, what'll you have?
Cornelius, but I'm sure the pheasants are fresh. We'll take 4, please, and a nice red wine.
Wait a minute. No wine.
No wine?
Champagne.
Champagne!
Once in a lifetime, Barnaby. Champagne and Neapolitan ice cream and hothouse peaches. And Barnaby, give the band leader a nickel and tell him to play To a Wild Rose. We want music while we dine.
Say, this is a cafe, isn't it? Let's dance.
The Vandergelders do not dance, Miss Money. We're Presbyterian.
All right, I'll dance myself. Give him $2 to give to the band leader, will ya? And tell him to play something refined, because I'm going to do the hoochie coochie.
All right, Cornelius. I'll send for the band leader, but promise you won't order anything else.
You wait here, Miss Money. I'll tell the band leader to play a nice waltz. You give this to the band leader and tell him to play a waltz.
Here's a nickel for the band leader. Would you tell him to play To a Wild
Oh, Miss Money!
And 2 more pheasants, please.
Cornelius! Can't have pheasants.
My purse.
My wallet.
Hey, you, that's my purse. Miss Money, get off that table. You're dancing in the stew.
Excuse me, that's my wallet. I know it's mine because there's nothing in it but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a... Cornelius! Cornelius! Did he say 2 pheasants? 3, 4 pheasants for the house. And never mind if we don't get to see the whale, I'll buy one of my own!
Sir! Sir! What's this? Shouting? How many times have I told you not to shout, boy? This is the Harmonia Gardens restaurant, not one of those.
But sir, the lady, she's here.
What? Are you sure, boy?
Just like you said, 8 o'clock on the nose. Up pulls a carriage and now steps a tall lady with red hair. And the biggest handbag I ever saw.
It's she, Mrs. Levi. She's back.
Rudy, is it true? I heard laughing outside the kitchen window, and it sounded like...
It is. It's Dolly. Fritz. Tell the man she just stepped out of her carriage.
Rudy, it's true, no?
It's true, yeah. She just stepped out of the white and gold carriage pulled by 6 black horses filled with sky blue.
Ah, Rudolph, it's like old times again.
Excuse me, girlie. Dolly? Dolly Gallagher! What are you doing in that getup? And you're a half hour late, and I demand an explanation of...
Ernestina.
Exactly!
Ernestina, whom I trusted?
She wanted to do the hoochie-coochie!
Well, she always was artistic. Now, Horace, I'm going to have our table right in front. There's someone in the dance competition I particularly want you to see. Now, don't let's say another word about it. I'm as shocked as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
What you wanted? A chicken. Now see here, Dolly, about that hoochie-coochie.
Oh, did you say a chicken? Oh, not a chicken, not today, not after what's happened.
Good, then cancel the chicken.
And bring a turkey.
What are you doing now?
Nothing. Just looking the place over, getting acquainted with the surroundings.
That's the problem with you, Dolly. Always want to know everything. Always sticking your nose in other people's affairs. Why, anyone who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
What? What's that you're saying?
I said anyone who married you would...
Horace Vandergelder, get that idea right out of your head this minute. I'm surprised you even mentioned such a thing. Understand once and for all that I have no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
Well, I certainly do hope not. Horace Vandergelder, you go your way and I'll go mine. I am not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a few chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. Why, the idea of you even suggesting such a thing?
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
Well, I certainly do hope not. However, if I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. However, we won't discuss it anymore. Here's the waiters with our food. Oh, look at 'em. I'll serve Mr. Vandergelder. Here is some white meat for you. Oh, and dumplings, lighter than air they are. Oh, and giblets, very tender and very good for you. Now, as I said before, Horace, you go your way and I'll go mine. Ooh. I'll start right in on the wine. I think you'll feel better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, I think there's one more thing I'm gonna say.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
One more thing I'm gonna say before we forget all about it. It's true, I'm a woman who likes to know everything about what's going on, who likes to manage things. But I would not want to manage anything as out of control as your household. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
It's not out of control.
Very well, Horace, we won't say another word about it. Have some beets, Horace, they're good.
I don't like beets.
That's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like yours is no sort of companion for me. You salt your beets, and I'll salt mine.
Will you stop saying that?
I won't say another word.
Good.
Except this. At your age, Horace, you should enjoy hearing the honest truth.
My age? My age? You're always talking about my age.
Well, I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers with bad food and a bad temper, it'll double in 6 months. Now have some beets, Horace, they're good.
I don't like beets. I hate beets.
That's nice. Now dig right in. You know, the pity of it is that you could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to.
I don't want to be charming.
But you are. Oh, look at you. You can't hide it. Now sit down, Horace. Let's talk of something else. However, before we change the subject, there's one more thing I'm gonna say.
I don't want to hear it. And you're wasting your time, Dolly Levi. I will not ask you to marry me.
Well, I suppose turning you down.
How can you turn me down when I haven't asked you a thing?
It's no use arguing. I've made up your mind. Here, let me cut your wings.
I've got a headache. I'm going back to my hotel.
You can't go now. The competition's about to begin.
Here's the money to pay for the food. Here's 20. Wait a second. All that's in here is $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a button. This isn't my purse. I've lost my purse.
Barnaby, that purse you found.
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
It's Vandergelders. Cornelius, we better get out of here.
What am I going to do? I've never been here before. They don't know me. Stop eating that turkey. I can't pay for it.
Horace is the latest thing, a polka. Now, there's one dancer in the competition I particularly want you to see. Rudolph, have our table moved right down front so Mr. Vandergelder can better observe his graceful movement.
Wait a minute. That man. That dancer.
Isn't he wonderful? With talent like that, he's sure to win the solid gold cup.
Come along, Mrs. Malloy. It's been a perfectly wonderful evening, but I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it a little bit, excuse me, short.
Minnie, look, a polka! Cornelius, I simply must have one dance.
But Vandergelder's right there. We've got to go.
We will go, but we'll dance our way out.
I don't want to hear any explanations. You're fired! Now, You're all charged with disturbing the peace, assault and battery, inciting to riot, and several other equally serious violations of the law of this city. Is there anybody here to speak on your behalf?
I don't know. You're not a lawyer. I don't know.
I say, is there anybody here to speak on your behalf?
Mrs. Levi.
This is Dolly Levi, counselor at law. She ain't nothing but a liar.
Your Honor, the defense rests. No, there is no need to call witnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, when I see upon that bench a brow that gleams with honor, eyes that glisten with fair play, and a nose. Oh, when you take a look at that nose, ladies and gentlemen, a nose that shines in the night like a flaming beacon of justice. Would you turn this way a bit, Your Honor, so we can take a better look at that beacon? A living symbol of the motto of this great land, E probuscus unum. Your Honor, I ask for innocence for my clients and a verdict of guilty for the only real culprit. Horace Vandergelder of Yonkers, New York.
Dolly!
The one man responsible for these grievous charges of willful destruction of private property.
It couldn't torn, and bent or bruised, and this son is goes cup bent.
Cruelty to a poor, unfortunate minor. Oh. Would you mind repeating that, dear?
Begging your pardon, Mrs. Levi, but if it please the court, I have something to say.
I was just about to call you, Mr. Hackle. Go right ahead.
Cornelius Hackle, if you dare testify against me, I'll have you discharged.
You've already done that, Mr. Vandergelder.
I'll do it again.
You've done it again, too. But even if you hadn't, I'd still say what I have to say. I don't know much about disturbing the peace or inciting to riot, but I do know that what happened to me today, which is the most important thing that could ever happen to a man, might never have happened if I had obeyed your orders and stayed in Yonkers, New York. Your Honor, I'm talking about none other than love.
What? You mean to tell me that after 33 years, you've fallen in love because you take one evening off?
No, Mr. Vandergelder, I did not fall in love with Mrs. Irene Malloy of this city in just an evening. An hour. Even that's too long. What's less than a minute?
A second.
Less than that.
A moment?
That's it. I'll go slowly so you can get it all down. It only takes a moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you will never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long. Isn't the world full of wonderful things? There I sat cooped up in Yonkers for years and years, and all the time wonderful people like Mrs. Malloy were walking around in New York, and I didn't know them at all. I don't know if you can all see from where you're sitting. Well, for instance, the way her eye and cheek and forehead come together up here. Can you? I tell you right now, a fine woman is the greatest work of God on earth. You can talk all you like about Niagara Falls and the pyramids. They aren't in it at all. Of course, I've seen women before, but today I talked to one equal to equal. And they're so different from men, and they're awfully mysterious too. I'll bet you can know a woman for 100 years without ever being really sure whether she liked you or not. Today, I've lost so many things. My job, my future, everything that people think is important, but I don't care. Even if I have to dig ditches for the rest of my life, I will be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day.
I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle, right after it only.
Take some moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you will never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt safe and strong. It only takes a moment.
He held me for an instant, but his arms felt safe and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long.
And that is all that love's about.
And we'll recall as time runs out that it only took a moment to be loved a whole life long.
You're all dismissed. Dismissed, all of you. All except Horace Van and Gelder, Yonkers, New York. You're all dismissed. You're all free. Go. And bless you. Go. You can see the prisoner now, Miss Levi.
Well, Horace, there's your life. Without niece, without clerks, without pride, and without your purse. It looks like there's only one thing left for me to say.
If it's to ask me to marry you, never. Not in a million years. Under no circumstances will I ever marry you.
Well, that wasn't it at all, Horace. All I really wanted to say was goodbye.
What?
Goodbye.
Now hold on, Dolly.
It's too late, Horace. I've failed. And when a woman fails, there's nothing left to say.
Wait.
But
Hey.
goodbye. 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 Don't try to stop me, Horace. Please. Wave your little hand and tonight's Horace. You can snuggle up to your cash register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. Look on my knocking, I'll be all down the band, singing that song that says you know. I taught the song. So, Horace, you will find your life a sad old story when you see your Dolly shovel up to glory. I should have said so long. So long ago.
And I wouldn't marry you, Dolly Levi, if you were the last woman on earth. Not if you asked me a million times. I didn't need you before, and I don't need you now. Why, you go your way, and I'll go mine. Oh, Dolly, Dolly, Dolly.
You stamped, Mr. Vandegelder?
What? Is that you, Hackle? Come crawling back, have you?
No, Mr. Vandegelder. I just stopped by for my $146.35. You see, I've decided to go into business for myself. And since the only business I know is hay and feed, I'm opening my own store.
And Cornelius has found the perfect location, Mr. Vandegelder, right across the street from you.
So you think you can compete with Vandergelders, do you? Well, you just try and... Aha! Another one come crawling back, is it? What do you want?
My back salary for the past 4 months, $6.12.
You can't do this to me, any of you. I'll go to the courts. I'll get lawyers. I'll...
Why, Horace Vandegelder, as I live and breathe, if you aren't handsome when you're mad.
Dolly Gallagher.
I know just what you're going to say, Horace. You're not satisfied with Ernestina. Well, I have another girl for you, the ideal wife. But don't let me interrupt. So you were doing something. What were you doing?
Getting Cornelius's money, Dolly. $146.
And 35 cents.
Plus $6.12 of mine.
And the money my mama left me, $52.48.
38.
48.
It's all right. If it's the money you want... upstairs.
What is
It was 38 cents, damn it.
How do you know this? I'm gonna get my money out of there because...
Money. Mr. Vandegelder's money. It's like the sun we walk under. It can kill, or it can cure. Vandegelder's never tired of saying that most of the people in this world are fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Cornelius, Irene, myself. Yes, we're all fools, and we're all in danger of destroying the world in our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm is to give us the 4 or 5 pleasures that are our right in this world. And that takes a little money. Now, the difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight, but that can shatter the world too. It's all in how you use it. As my late husband Ephraim Levi always said, money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around, encouraging young things to grow. Anyhow, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandegelder. Which reminds me, Ephraim, I'm ready for that sign.
Well, don't just stand there. That goes upstairs.
Well, as I was saying, Horace, I found you the ideal wife.
I don't want you to find me no ideal wives. If I'm going to find an ideal wife, I'll find it myself. And I found her. And it's you, damn it.
Why, Horace!
I know I was a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman, but Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
What do you mean?
You know as well as I do, Horace, that you are the first citizen of Yonkers, and your wife would have to be a somebody. Answer me, Horace, am I a somebody?
You are, wonderful woman.
Oh, no, you're partial. It wouldn't be enough for you to, load your wife with money and with jewels and to make her the benefactress of half the town. By the way, it's bad business letting Cornelius open a store right across the street from you. Better take him back and make him your partner.
Partner?
And Barnaby can have Cornelius's old job.
Now hold on, Dolly.
Oh, that way we can all be together so we can dance at Ermengarde's wedding.
That does it, Dolly. You crossed the line. I will dance at no weddings, and I don't know how. And it would take me weeks, months, years to learn. All right, I'll dance.
Why, Horace, I never thought I'd hear you say a thing like that.
Why don't just stand there, idiot? That front room. Well, go on.
Horace Vandergelder, what is going on up there?
I thought I'd have that room done over in blue wallpaper.
Horace.
I know the old paper ain't worn out yet, but that fella's just set up in business and, well, he needs a good start. You see, Dolly, I've always felt that money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless...
Thank you, Ephraim.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you here where you belong. I never knew Dolly without you. Dolly, life was softly flat, and more than that was awfully wrong.
Here's my hat, Horace. I'm staying where I'm at. Horace, Dolly will never go away.
Wonderful woman.